What if everything you fear about being alone is actually what makes you strongest? What if the silence you run from is the one thing that could change your life? We live in a world that never stops talking. Social media, notifications, endless conversations. Yet, despite being more connected than ever, most people feel more disconnected than ever. Why? Because we fear silence. We mistake being alone for being lonely. But what if we've been seeing it all wrong? What if solitude isn't something to fear, but something to embrace? The Stoics understood this long before us. Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of an empire, once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He knew something most people ignore today. True strength doesn't come from distractions. It comes from being comfortable with yourself, from learning to stand alone and still feel whole. So why do we resist solitude? Because modern life has trained us to. The moment we're alone, we reach for our phones, scroll, distract, escape. Social media tricks us into believing that everyone else is always surrounded by friends, partners, excitement. That being single is a problem. But here's the truth. Most people fear solitude, not because of loneliness, but because silence forces them to face themselves. But what if you stopped running from it? What if you embraced solitude and made it your superpower? Because when you learn to thrive alone, you gain something most people never do: freedom, clarity, power. And in the next segment, we'll explore exactly how being single allows you to expand your world, unlock new experiences, and truly own your life. Segment 2. Singlehood freedom. Expand your horizons. Being single isn't about being alone. It's about being free. Free to explore, free to grow, free to connect. No obligations, no compromises, just endless possibilities. Every new person you meet is a chance to see the world through a different lens, a chance to challenge your beliefs, a chance to expand your understanding of life. Most people stay inside the same social circles, talking to the same people, living the same routine. But what happens when you step out of that comfort zone? Imagine this. A man in his 30s, stuck in the same routine, decides to travel solo. At first, it's uncomfortable. Awkward conversations, self-doubt. But then, something changes. He starts talking to strangers, locals, other travelers. He listens to their stories, shares his own. And in those conversations, he finds new perspectives, new ways of thinking, new friendships that reshape his life. By stepping out alone, he realizes he was never truly alone. Because the world is filled with people on their own journeys, looking to connect, learn, and grow. The Stoics believed in cosmopolitanism, the idea that we are citizens of the world, not confined by borders, not defined by one place or one group, but connected to all of humanity. Seneca once wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Every encounter matters. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute. So, what does this mean for you? It means singlehood isn't isolation. It's an invitation to curate your social circle, to seek out people who challenge you, to expand your thinking, to become someone who brings value to others. When you embrace singlehood, you're not just avoiding a relationship, you're opening yourself to the entire world. And that's where the real adventure begins. But the question is, how do you make the most of this time? In the next segment, we'll explore how to own your time and use it to build a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Segment 3. Master your time. Stop wasting, start winning time. Your most valuable asset. Unlike money, you can't earn more of it. Unlike possessions, you can't replace it. And yet, most people waste it without a second thought. How much time do you think the average person spends on social media each day? 2 hours and 31 minutes. That's 38 days per year. Gone. For what? Endless scrolling. Meaningless distractions. Now, imagine reclaiming that time. Imagine using it to build something real. Because here's the truth. When you're single, you have something most people don't. Full control over your time. No obligations, no compromises. But here's the paradox. Freedom without direction leads to destruction. If you don't decide how to use your time, distractions will decide for you. And that's exactly what happens to most people. So the real question is, how do you own your time instead of losing it? The answer is simple. Step 1. Create structure. Plan your days in advance. Set clear morning routines, learning blocks, deep work sessions, and reflection time. Don't let the day happen to you. Command it. Do you think high performers wing it? Elon Musk schedules his day in 5-minute blocks. Warren Buffett reads 500 pages daily, because how you structure your time determines your future. Step 2. Eliminate time wasters. Ask yourself, does this add to my life? Or is it just a distraction, mindless scrolling, binge watching, saying yes to every invitation? These don't just waste time, they waste your life. Try this. Dopamine detox. Cut all low-value stimulation for 24 hours. No social media, no Netflix, no video games. Just you, your thoughts, and your goals. You'll be shocked by how much time opens up. Owning your time means owning your life. And when you control your time, you control your destiny. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, because time is freedom, but so is financial independence. Up next, we'll uncover why money isn't about luxury, it's about control. Segment 4. Financial freedom. Control money, control life money. For some, it's a tool. For others, it's a trap. Most people spend their lives chasing wealth, believing it will bring freedom. They think more money means more happiness. But the Stoics understood something deeper. True wealth isn't about how much you have, it's about how little you need. Think about Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most respected Stoic philosophers. He had nothing, no riches, no luxuries, and yet he was one of the freest men in history. Why? Because his happiness was never for sale. Now, look around. Society teaches us to spend, not to build. Fancy dinners, lavish gifts, expensive dates, and for what? To impress people who don't even care. But here's the advantage of being single. You control where your money goes. No costly anniversaries, no impulse purchases to keep someone happy, no financial obligations except the ones you choose. And here's the truth. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar that buys your freedom, and freedom is the real currency. Financial independence means choices. The choice to walk away from a job you hate, the choice to pursue a passion without fear, the choice to live on your own terms. So how do you master your money instead of letting it master you? Step 1. Spend with purpose. Before buying anything, ask yourself, does this add to my life? Or is it just a distraction? Step 2. Invest in yourself. Not in things, not in trends, but in knowledge, in skills, in experiences that make you stronger. Step 3. Build a buffer. Because when you have financial security, you stop making decisions out of fear. And when you stop making decisions out of fear, you become unstoppable. The goal isn't to hoard money, it's to create a life where money is no longer a worry, where you have the power to say no, where you choose your path, not your paycheck. And here's the best part. When you don't need external validation, when you don't spend to impress, you become untouchable. And that leads us to something even more powerful, because once you master your finances, You stop looking for someone to complete you. Instead, you start building a life that's already whole, and that's where we shift focus next. Not just on love, but on redefining love beyond romance. Segment 5. True love beyond romance and relationships. For centuries, we've been told a story that says romantic love is the ultimate goal, that happiness comes from finding the one, that without a partner, something is missing. But what if that story is wrong? The Stoics knew something most people ignore today. Real love isn't about possession, it's about connection, purpose, virtue, and none of that depends on a romantic partner. Let's start with the most important kind of love, self-love. And no, this isn't narcissism. It's not about ego. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about self-respect. Because when you truly love yourself, you stop chasing validation. You stop settling for people who drain you. You stop looking for someone to fill a void because you've already filled it yourself. But love doesn't stop with you. There's also platonic love. The deep, meaningful bonds we form with friends, mentors, and our community. The Stoics saw friendships not as distractions, but as partnerships in virtue. People who challenge you, who help you grow, who stand by you, not because they have to, but because they choose to. And then there's something even greater, love for the world, love for humanity. The Stoics believed in cosmopolitanism, the idea that we are all citizens of the world, that our purpose isn't just to seek love for ourselves, but to give it. Through mentorship, through service, through lifting others up. Because the more you give, the more you realize love is limitless. So if you're single and feeling like something is missing, maybe it's time to redefine love. Not as something you search for, but as something you create. And when you do that, you'll never feel alone again. And this leads us to a deeper truth. If love isn't the source of happiness, then what is? In the next segment, we'll tackle one of the biggest myths of all, the idea that relationships are the key to happiness. Because the truth, happiness isn't found in someone else, it's built from within. Segment 6. Happiness Myth. Why love won't complete you. For centuries, we've been told a lie. You need a relationship to be happy. Movies, books, and social media all sell the same idea, that happiness is something you find in someone else. But what if that belief is not only false, but actually dangerous? Think about it. If your happiness depends on another person, what happens when they leave? What happens when they disappoint you? What happens when life pulls you apart? If your well-being is built on something outside of you, then your happiness is never truly yours. That's not love. That's dependency. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." True happiness doesn't come from another person. It comes from virtue, from wisdom, from living in alignment with who you are. Happiness isn't given to you, it's built from within. But here's where most people go wrong. They don't build their own happiness first. Instead, they look for someone to fill the gaps. And that's when things fall apart. Because when you expect a relationship to fix your loneliness, to complete you, to make you whole, you place a burden on that person they can never fulfill. No one can be your everything. So what's the alternative? Simple. Step 1. Know yourself. What drives you? What makes you come alive? What do you want from life? If you don't know who you are, how can you expect someone else to? Step 2. Develop inner peace. Practice solitude. Learn to sit in stillness. Find joy in your own company before seeking it in someone else. Step 3. Pursue growth. Invest in your skills, passions, and purpose. When you grow as a person, you don't need someone to complete you. You are already whole. And here's the irony. When you stop seeking happiness in relationships, that's when you actually become ready for one. Because you're no longer looking for someone to fix you. You're looking for someone to walk beside you. That's a relationship built on strength, on respect, on mutual growth, not on need. So if you're single and wondering when you'll find happiness, the answer isn't in someone else, it's in you. Happiness isn't about being in a relationship. It's about being complete before you enter one. And once you master that, you'll never settle again. But to truly thrive in singlehood, there's one more thing you need: self-sufficiency. Because real freedom isn't just about emotional independence. It's about knowing you can stand on your own in every way. Up next, we'll uncover why self-sufficiency isn't just a skill. It's your superpower. Segment 7. Self-sufficiency, the ultimate superpower. Most people think strength comes from having someone by your side, but real strength comes from standing on your own. Society tells you that you need approval, that you need companionship to feel whole, that you need someone else to validate your worth. But the Stoics saw things differently. They knew that self-sufficiency isn't just about survival. It's the foundation of true power, because when you don't need external validation, you become unshakable. But here's what most people get wrong. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean pushing people away. It doesn't mean isolation. It means knowing that you're complete before you let anyone in. And that actually makes relationships stronger, not weaker. Think about it. Would you rather be with someone who needs you to feel whole, or someone who chooses you from a place of strength? When two independent people come together, it's not out of fear, it's not out of loneliness, it's because they want to. And that's a relationship built on respect. So how do you develop this level of self-sufficiency? Step 1. Master your emotions. Don't let external events control you. If someone's opinion can break you, you're still a prisoner to them. Step 2. Gain financial independence. If you rely on someone else to survive, you're never truly free. Take control of your finances. Save, invest, build something for yourself. Step 3. Trust yourself. Make decisions without seeking approval. Live by your values, not by what others expect of you. When you embrace self-sufficiency, you stop being dependent on others for your happiness, and that's when you become truly free. Free to live on your terms, free to love without fear, free to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. And this freedom, it's not just emotional, it's not just financial. It expands to every aspect of your life, because when you're truly independent, you gain the ultimate gift, absolute freedom in every choice you make. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Segment 8. Life freedom. Break societal expectations. Freedom, the ability to wake up every morning and say, "This day is mine." No compromises, no obligations, no one else deciding your path. That's the power of singlehood. When you're single, every choice is yours. Want to travel the world? No one is holding you back. Want to change careers? You don't need permission. Want to pursue a passion? There's no one to slow you down. Your life is entirely your own. And yet, most people don't embrace this freedom because they're too busy seeking validation. Society teaches us to follow a script. Go to school, get a job, find a partner, get married, have kids. And if you're not on that path, you start hearing it. When are you settling down? Don't you want a family? Aren't you afraid of being alone? But here's what the Stoics understood. You don't have to live by anyone else's rules. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but rather never beginning to live. Too many people live according to expectations, afraid to step outside the lines, afraid to choose a life that looks different. But true freedom comes when you stop seeking approval and start living for yourself. So here's a challenge for you. If you had complete freedom, what would you do? Where would you go? What passions would you chase? What kind of life would you build? Because right now, you have that freedom. The only question is, are you brave enough to use it? And freedom doesn't just mean doing what you want. It means having the energy, strength, and discipline to enjoy it fully. Which is why in the next segment, we'll uncover the ultimate act of self-respect, taking care of your body and mind. Segment 9, Health and Discipline. Build a stronger you. Your body. The one thing you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. And yet, most people treat it as an afterthought. They neglect it. They push it aside. They say, "I'll take care of myself later," until later becomes too late. But here's the truth. Physical self-care is the highest form of self-respect. Because if you can't honor your own body, how can you honor your own life? Why singlehood is the best time to build strength. When you're single, you have a rare opportunity. No one is influencing your routines. No one is pulling you off track. You have time, you have freedom, which means you have zero excuses. So how do you build a body and mind that support a powerful life? Step 1. Master discipline. Motivation won't save you. Jocko Willink wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every day, not because it's easy, but because discipline is a habit, not a decision. Marcus Aurelius. He trained his mind before his body, starting each day by reminding himself. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I am rising to do the work of a human being." So here's your challenge. Pick a routine and commit to it. Weight training, running, martial arts, yoga. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you do it. Step 2. Fuel for strength, not cravings. Most people eat for comfort. They use food as entertainment. They chase temporary pleasure. But food is fuel, and what you put in your body determines how you think, move, and feel. Eat for strength, eat for energy, eat for longevity, because a powerful mind needs a powerful body. Step 3. Train your mind. Physical health is nothing without mental clarity. Take time to reflect, to journal, to cut out distractions that drain your focus. Because a strong mind in a weak body is limited, and a strong body with a weak mind is reckless. But when you master both, you become unstoppable. The Stoic mindset on strength. The Stoics knew that discipline isn't suffering, it's liberation. Because when you take care of yourself, you have more energy, you have more strength, you have more clarity. You wake up every day ready to conquer life. And when you're strong in body and mind, you don't just survive, you thrive. You become the kind of person who doesn't need an escape, because your life is already one worth living. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, because beyond discipline, beyond self-care, there's something else that makes life meaningful. Passion, curiosity, the pursuit of new experiences. And in the next segment, we'll explore why singlehood isn't just about freedom. It's about the chance to discover who you truly are. Segment 10. New passions. Unlock your true potential. When was the last time you tried something new? Not because you had to, not because someone else wanted you to, but because you were curious. Most people stop exploring after childhood. They settle into routines, stick to what's familiar, live the same year over and over again. But singlehood gives you a gift that most people waste, the freedom to explore. This is your time to pick up that guitar that's been collecting dust, to learn a new language, to travel somewhere new, to start a business, write a book, master a skill. Because when you're single, no one else dictates your time. Every passion, every skill you develop makes you a more complete person. What the Stoics understood. Learning is lifelong. It's not just about knowledge, it's about resilience, adaptability, growth. Because every time you challenge yourself, every time you embrace discomfort, you evolve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The things that seem hard at first, that make you doubt yourself, that feel impossible, are the very things that will make you stronger. So here's the question. What's one thing you've always wanted to try? Maybe it's art, maybe it's coding, maybe it's starting a podcast or learning to fight. Whatever it is, now is the time, not tomorrow, not when you have more time, right now. Because the more you explore, the more you discover who you really are. And once you step into that, you'll never feel lost again. But here's the final truth. No passion, no success, no external achievement will ever replace the most important thing of all, the ability to own your journey. And in the final segment, we'll bring it all together so you can step forward with strength, purpose, and unshakable confidence. Segment 11. Own your life. The Stoic path to power. Singlehood. Most people see it as a gap, a waiting period, a time between relationships. But you know better. This isn't a lack, it's an opportunity to own your time, to build your strength, to discover who you are without limits. Because the truth is, no relationship, no status, no external validation will ever define your worth. Fulfillment is an inside job. The Stoics taught us that fulfillment doesn't come from another person. It doesn't come from society's expectations. It comes from you, from living with purpose, from mastering your mind, from building a life you don't need to escape from. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Step forward and own your life. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating, because the strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need anyone to complete them. Your next step begins now. You've seen the power of singlehood. You've understood the freedom it brings. But learning never stops. Growth never stops. And that's where your next step begins. On the screen, you'll see a video waiting for you. A deeper dive into Stoic mastery. A lesson that will challenge you. A mindset shift that could change everything. Click it, watch it, keep evolving. Because this journey, it's just getting started. Thank you for being part of this. Now go, live boldly, think deeply, and own your journey.